Picture a sky draped in leaden gray, shadows heavy over the circuit as a torrential downpour threatens to drown every last shred of hope. In that singular moment, as the entire world holds its breath, we witness a man who was the living, breathing embodiment of the purest Stoic spirit, Ayrton Senna. While other drivers trembled, white-knuckling their steering wheels in sheer terror of the slick asphalt and the specter of death, Senna wore a curious smile. It wasn't the smile of arrogance. It was the smile of a master who had achieved a profound, unwavering love for his own destiny. It gives me chills just thinking about the way he surged through that blinding curtain of water with a grace that was nothing short of breathtaking. To Senna, the rain wasn't the enemy, it was his teacher. It was the only stage grand enough for him to prove that the power of the human will far outstrips the horsepower of any engine. He wasn't just driving a car, he was conducting a symphony between man and adversity. Every lethal curve, every heavy brake on that rain-soaked track didn't make him flinch, it only fanned the flames of desire deep within his veins. Watching Senna dance in the rain reveals a blazing truth. When your mind is truly still and unyielding, the storms outside are merely the spice that seasons your glory. Senna was the greatest forest fire history has ever produced. A fire where the stronger the wind and the heavier the rain, the more fiercely he burned, unquenchable and defiant. He transformed humanity's collective fear into his own personal sanctuary, leaving behind an immortal legacy on how to become the god of the very storm that seeks to besiege your life. Simply extraordinary, truly legendary. Deep within the smoldering labyrinth of Sao Paulo, where cold steel huddles under suffocating heat and choking dust, your soul is easily strangled by the chaos. Suddenly, the ear-piercing screech of brakes. A lunatic swerves right in front of you, spitting filthy insults through his window. In that heartbeat, a beast awakens in your blood. It screams for you to strike back, demanding you punish him to reclaim your sense of justice. But listen to me. There is a secret that the spiritual masters have kept hidden for ages. Amidst that cacophony, there exists a hidden crack that so few ever dare to reach. I call it the divine space. It only takes 3 seconds. 1, 3. One deep breath. Long enough for you to step back and observe your own rage like a spectator watching a pathetic play. In those 3 fateful seconds, you realize that man is not your rival. He is nothing more than a miserable pawn, imprisoned by the utter poverty of his own spirit. Why? Why would you hand over your crown of peace to a stranger groaning in his own failure? The moment you close your lips and smile, a miracle occurs. Your fortress remains untouched. That man has failed utterly in his attempt to assassinate your soul. This isn't submission. This is the scepter of a king. By mastering those 3 seconds, you have stepped through a secret door to become the architect of your own destiny, where the greatest battle ends in a silence that is terrifyingly powerful. You won, because you refused to let someone else's darkness stain your light. In the dead of night within your mind, do you hear it? That soul-crushing screech of metal grinding against the asphalt? That is the echo of the rope tightening around your wrists, binding you to a truck named the past as it races away at a maddening speed. I once watched a man, a soul that was once overflowing with pride, slowly wither away like a dead branch in a drought. For 10 years, he clung to a grudge against a former boss as if it were some tattered, precious treasure. 10 years of broken sleep. 10 years where every breath he took reeked of the sour stench of resentment. He became a shadow, gaunt and hollow-eyed, because he spent his life brewing a poison called hatred, drinking it himself every single day, waiting for his enemy to drop dead. It's as ridiculous as it is agonizing. He never realized that his own swollen hands, white-knuckled and gripping that rope, were the only culprit in his misery. That truck, it's soulless. It's merciless. It does not stop to pity you. Every mile it travels is another moment your flesh is shredded against the scorching asphalt of the present. Now listen to me closely. This isn't just advice. This is a rescue mission. Let go. Open your hands. Letting go isn't about forgiving that person. It is an exorcism for your own soul. The moment your fingers loosen, the moment that rope slips away, that truck will vanish into the mists of nothingness. You'll find yourself lying on the ground. It'll hurt, yes, but for the first time in a decade you will actually breathe. So what will it be? Do you choose the freedom to walk forward? Or do you choose to let the pain crush the very essence of who you are? That power? It's right there, in the palm of your trembling hand. Under the vibrant skies of Brazil, where the rhythm of the samba never fades and laughter echoes across every beach, there is a quiet, powerful truth pulsing beneath the surface. A truth we desperately try to ignore. Do you ever feel the weight of the things you're holding? The keys to a luxury car, a gleaming trophy on the shelf, or the simple warmth of your partner's hand. We lose ourselves in the delusion of ownership, pounding our chests and declaring, "This is mine." But let me pull back the curtain on the harsh reality hiding beneath those layers of silk. You don't own a single thing. You are merely a tenant, a temporary guest in a world of constant flux. The universe? It is a cold, mysterious creditor. It never sends a warning before it comes to collect what it's loaned you. Think of the moment you pull your child close. You feel their fragile heartbeat, the scent of their hair. If you are awake enough to see the invisible threads of fate, you'll realize that child is a borrowed gift, on a fixed-term lease from the cosmos. One day, whether it's 10 years or 60, the universe will knock on your door to reclaim its capital. It isn't a theft. It is simply the expiration of a contract you signed with your very first breath. Don't wait until your arms are empty to start drowning in a flood of late tears. This truth isn't here to plant seeds of fear. It's here to awaken a love so fierce it borders on the extreme. When you truly grasp that every kiss, every family meal, is a fleeting privilege, you will begin to love with 200% of your heart. Be a graceful tenant. Cherish every second as if it were the final moment before you return everything to the void. Because in the end, the only thing you actually keep isn't material. It is your dignity, and the way you honored the gift while it was still in your hands. Do you hear it? That low, persistent hum of lost souls echoing through the sidewalk cafes of Sao Paulo or Rio. They are performing a bizarre, intoxicating ritual, sitting together to watch the spectacle of their own failure. They point fingers at the government, they curse the economy, and they moan about their bad luck, as if they were nothing more than innocent bystanders in a dark movie theater. But here is the jagged, bitter truth. That movie is their life. And that screen currently engulfed in flames? That is their future, turning to ash before their very eyes. They are mindlessly attending their own funeral, and they don't even know it. Let me take you back to a man named Epictetus. He began his journey in the heavy iron of slavery. His master ruthlessly shattered his leg. He lived in the gut-wrenching hollow of poverty, stripped of every basic human right. But in that suffocating darkness, he struck a blinding light, the absolute, untouchable freedom of the mind. He never begged for pity. Instead, he whispered a truth so powerful it still shakes the earth today: "My leg is shackled, but my will is not." He didn't just watch, he leaped into the screen of his own existence. He took a broken slave and forged a philosopher so great that the entire Roman Empire was forced to bow. So, what about you? You have powerful hands to create. You have steady legs to walk. So why are you nailing yourself to that spectator's chair, waiting for a hero who is never coming? No savior is going to step out of that screen to rewrite your script. Do not let your healthy body go to waste while your mind is paralyzed by the blame game. Stand up. Tear through the veil of your own excuses. Start digging for the hero currently buried under the thick mud of your own complacency. Because in the end, it is only when you stop watching and start acting that the movie of your life finally finds its glorious ending. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why a soulless string of words on a glowing screen has the power to rip your serenity to shreds? Look deep into your own spiritual architecture. Inside you, there is an inner citadel, a fortress of solid stone, built over thousands of years of evolution. But you're acting like a sentry who's fallen asleep at his post. You've left the gates wide open for any wandering beggar to walk in and wreak havoc. Picture this: you post a piece of your heart online, something you truly care about, and some nameless ghost leaves a jagged, venomous comment. The moment that rage surges through your veins, you've made a fatal mistake. You've invited him inside. He isn't just standing at the door anymore. He is casually slamming his filthy, mud-caked boots onto the mahogany table in your living room, sneering as he spits on the floor you spent a lifetime keeping clean. Tell me, are you really okay with letting your soul become a dumping ground for people who aren't even worthy of your shadow? The power of a Stoic master lies in a single sign: no entry. Learn to be a ruthless gatekeeper. The insult? That belongs to them. But the hurt? That is a choice you make. The world outside might be a firestorm of lost souls and chaos, but within those walls, there must be a kingdom of absolute, unshakable silence. Do not let a single soul set foot in your sanctuary unless they bring respect. Because, in the end, the key to the fortress is in your hand. You, and only you, decide who is a guest, and who is the enemy. Can you hear it? That whisper of a ghost haunting every breath you take? Its name is Someday. We are turning our lives into a cold, soulless airport lounge, eyes glued to the departure board, waiting for a flight called happiness to finally arrive. But let me tell you a brutal truth from the shadows. That flight, it never lands. I've walked through the most lavish mansions overlooking the sun-soaked shores of Ipanema, places the rest of the world only dreams of. But behind those gilded doors, I didn't see paradise. I saw souls, slowly dying next to scattered bottles of sedatives. It turns out, the soothing sound of the waves isn't enough to drown out the scream of a hollow reality. If you can't learn to smile when your pockets are empty and your heart is heavy with pressure, then a beachfront villa is just a more expensive cage to house your loneliness. Don't lie to yourself. Don't think peace is some check signed by destiny once you've burnt yourself out. Serenity isn't a trophy at the finish line. It is the oxygen, the only thing keeping you in the race. Learn to breathe deep right in the middle of the storm of debt. Right in the middle of those sleepless nights of anxiety. Because if you can't find your freedom while you're struggling, you will forever be nothing more than a miserable billionaire. Kill that ghost of someday. Kill it today. Start living like a king right here in the middle of this harsh, beautiful reality. Have you ever wondered why, in the tightest, harshest alleys of the favelas, where hunger and scarcity are the very air people breathe, we find the most radiant souls? I've stood there, frozen, watching a woman with hands so rough and cracked from labor they looked like stone. Yet she was trembling as she broke her very last piece of bread just to share it with a neighbor who was fading. In that heartbeat, the filth of the slums simply vanished. All that was left was a blinding, mystical light surrounding them. That wasn't naivety. That was a declaration of power from someone who was truly, undeniably strong. Generosity is not a luxury reserved for those with fat bank accounts. It is the secret art of those who are rich at the very core of their being. When you give, whether it's your time, your wisdom, or just a word of comfort, and you do it without needing a single thank you or a pat on the back, you are performing a reality hack. You are sending a supreme code deep into your subconscious, whispering, I am not a beggar for validation. I am a boundless source of life. I am so powerful that I can bestow value even when the world thinks I have nothing left to give. The very moment you stop cowering in the fear of loss, that monster called scarcity dies. Happiness, she's a proud one. She will never show up if you're chasing her like a street beggar. She only comes quietly, seeking shelter in the hearts of those who radiate value in the middle of the storm. Do one small thing today. Do it silently. Do it in secret. Just to remind yourself of one truth. You are the master of abundance, and this world owes you a debt of respect for a heart that refuses to know its own limits. I am Ken Lai, and right now I am reaching through this screen to touch the true essence of who you are, the version of you that's been hiding in the shadows. We have just journeyed through some brutal truths together. But hear me, if you shut this video off and slip back into your old rhythm, back to the same mediocre complaints, then everything we just shared is nothing but a handful of meaningless ash. I don't need hollow views. I need lives reborn from the wreckage of stagnation. Don't try to overhaul your entire life at once. That is the trap of greed. Instead, choose one lesson. Just one. But make it the pressure point that shifts your entire destiny starting right now. Refuse to be a tiny candle, shivering, flickering, and begging the winds of life for mercy. Choose instead to be a roaring forest fire, where every hardship, every ounce of pain, and every betrayal is nothing but dry wood, feeding the flames of your will until you are unquenchable. That is the code of the Invictus spirit, an unconquerable soul, a fortress that can never be seized. You are not a slave to your circumstances. You are a king, forging your crown in the white-hot furnace of a brutal reality. I'll be waiting for you there, where the clouds of fear are far beneath your feet, on the peak of a mind that is finally absolutely free. Now go. Burn like a true warrior. I will see you at the very summit of your glory.